Sailor Jupiter here, Lita, and Sailor Venus here, Mina. And today we're going to talk about, this. Today we're going to talk about, another little thing about, you know, goings on in the, you know, Sailor Moon followership. But it's not really that. So there's always been talk about Sailor Moon. Did it offshoot from something else? Did it knock off something else? Well, the truth is there was always drawing films and live shows and books and funny books, whatever you want to call them, that always had folks shapeshift. Folks who were over good doers and then they shapeshifted or something. It was always something. It wasn't only something that only belonged to Dawnland, but it seemed to be something that belonged to everyone's dreams. So, yeah, Sailor Moon was offshooted through the mind of Neko Takiguchi, if I'm even saying her name right. But she had already been writing and drawing books for some time before she even started doing Sailor Moon, which was offshooted from Sailor Venus's books. And a lot of folks seem to wonder where she got the thought from. Well, if it's true or not, she happened to be a follower of Overteam, which is also known as Super Sentai, but those are borrowed words. The English for it to be Overteam or Overshift. And she wanted to make an all-female offshoot of it. And I guess Sailor Moon was what came out of it. And a lot of folks are going to talk about Sailor Moon and the Power Rangers, or Sailor Moon and the Might Keepers having a lot of things that are the same between them throughout all of their 30 followings and Sailor Moon's 5 followings, depending on which English one you were offshooted from. So, yeah, we fight Fiends of the Week. They fight a Fiend of the Day. And one little unlikeness is that when we beat our Fiends, that's it. They're done. They don't grow big. We don't have to have another fight with a fighting tool, And I know some folks out there are going to bring up, Emerald when she was shapeshifted into a Lindworm, but that was beyond, or Queen Barrow after her and Queen Metallia became one. But beyond that, that was it. We didn't really have two fights. The Fiends never grew big. We didn't have to get into a fighting tool or whatever you call it and fight them. Some folks like to bring up folks being brainwashed. Like to talk about how Darian and Rini were brainwashed. Ernest got brainwashed later on. They talk about how when Tommy Oliver first came into the Might Keepers, how he was brainwashed by, Rita Repulsa, and how for most of the following he was, And I like to bring this up because they talk about how Tuxedo Mask got brainwashed by Queen Beryl in the first following, how Rini was brainwashed by Wise Man or Death Ghost in the Two-Ford following. And they talk about how Sailor Earth Ernest got brainwashed by Wolfman Hart years later. And they talk about this as if it's the same thing, as if one show is offshooting from the other. Well, it would have been hard since at around the time Sailor Moon first show came out between 92, while the books had come out 1 year before that, I think. You want to go on now, Sailor Venus? Alright, Sailor Jupiter, thank you. You're right, Sailor Jupiter. Sailor Moon first came out between 92, while the Might Keepers wouldn't come out until 1 year after that, between 93, while. So, yeah, how could one show didn't come up for the other offshoot from it? And how could we offshoot from a show that didn't start 1 year after our show started? And if we were offshooting from anything, it would have been Overteam. But then the truth is, the Overteam show came out 1 year before our show did. So were we offshooting from that? But they've been around since between 75 YL. So yeah. And a lot of folks also bring up about shape-shifting. Yeah. Like we shape-shift, they shape-shift. And it's just something that everyone does. Everyone scaves the flow shape shifting, but the truth is, it's a fast thing. And everyone talks about the sagas and the tales that are being told, how there are a lot of things that are the same. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are the same between both shows. But at the end of the day, I don't think Sailor Moon offshoot knocked off the Might Keepers, and I don't think the Might Keepers knocked off Sailor Moon. It would have been hard for one show. If it was true, then one show would have been offshooting from our show. We started before they did. And if there was any show that Power Rangers or Might Keepers or Sailor Moon was offshooting or borrowing from or fostering from, that would have been over team. Um so yeah. And I don't think we knocked them off at all. And there are some folks that, they can get into one show but they can't get into the other show, you know? And everybody likes to also bring up other things that are the same between the shows, but those are like the two big things. But they also tend to forget about the kinship between Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, which also happened between Kimberly Hart, who was the first Pink Keeper, and Catherine Helway, who became the two-forward Pink Keeper, and Tommy Oliver, who was both the Green Keeper and the White Keeper at the time. And he's in later on going on to be the Red Keeper on Zeo and the Red Keeper on Fast. Um, the truth, I would guess, is that it's just something that happened. Like Sailor Moon, Tuxedo Mask. At the end of the day, I don't think one show was watching the other. So, oh, we got to offshoot from that. You wanna go back now? You're right, Sailor Venus. At the end of the day, I truly believe that it was just something that happened. I don't really think Amy and Billy were offshooted from each other. I don't think one show saw the other show and say, "Well, we need someone who wears blue clothing, who's highly wise, who sometimes doesn't fit in, who wears glasses or need not wear glasses." And we got to have the names that end with a Y. Billy is short for William, which may or need not be either an English name or a German name or a French borrowed name. No one seems to know. And Amy. Well, I think there's a lot of things that are same about them. They both shapeshift when they're blue. They're both highly wise. They both feel they don't feel they fit in because of their highly wise. Because they're highly wise. Um, Both of them are seen as the brains of their team. Both of them have answers sometimes when the rest of them followers or friends do not have the answers. But I don't think Billy or Amy were offshooted from each other. You know, it would be hard to say that Naote Gucci and Han Siobhan were offshooting from each other. You know, um, at the end of the day, yes, there's a lot of things that are the same between the shows. You know, like Molly and Malvin and Bulk and Skull, which would be Francois Buckwire and Eugene Skolovich. I think there are some things that are the same between the shows, but I just think that just happened. I don't think one show was offshooting from the other show. So anyway, I hope you like this film. And if I hope okay, hope you like this film, and if you do, follow us over here at Sailor Moon for Life. Watch the last film we made yesterday over here, and if we did miss anything, any other things about the show that you think that both shows had or were the same, let us know. I, Sailor Jupiter, Lita. I, Sailor Venus, Mina. Hope you like this film. Bye. Thanks a lot. You leave me to end the film.